Hello, this is Leon again. This is your best friend listening to you. This is the acronym your best friend listening to you. I'm making a mess with it. I have some code here so that my mobile phone doesn't get, I don't want to say stolen. So can you say stolen nowadays at all? But anyway, so I don't want this to get stolen. In the middle of the street in Warschauer Straße in Berlin. This is the Warschauer Brücke, Warschauer Bridge. It's a very well-known place in the city. I'm gonna get to the point to how to enhance your masculinity if you wish to do so by doing some simple steps. So simple steps that okay, number one, you already know this, blah, 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 blah. Everybody tells you to go to the gym, but I'm not gonna get to that point just like that. I'm gonna tell you something about my experience. Nowadays we have so much influence from people wanting to make you more feminine that chances are, even if you go to the gym, somebody is gonna suggest to you the kind of exercises that actually make you more feminine. I remember a conversation in a bar many years ago in which many guys that I met were telling me about the kind of sport. I asked them, what kind of sport do you do? And they were telling me of the kind of sport that, yes, you may consider that sport, but that is not going to necessarily make make your body more masculine. Let's say you do something that is like cycling or badminton or volleyball. If you're into those kind of sports, that's okay for you. But so you know, those are the kind of sports in which your body is gonna look more feminine. So the best way in which you can know whether a sport kind is better for you or not is look it up who are the professionals for that. If you look it up, let's say Tour de France, let's say you are into cycling, okay, look it up in the Tour de France and see those professionals. Is that the kind of body you go for? Is this the way you would ideally look like those guys? Then go for it. But if it's not, then you know you have chosen the wrong sport, at least for aiming for a better body, for a more attractive body according to your own values. If you are into baseball or I don't know, water polo, swimming, whatever it is, do the same. Look it up. Who are the professionals? How do they look like? Is that the look that you rock, that you wanna rock? Then go for it. If not, it's better you choose. This. There's somebody saying hello to some guys rowing down there. So anyway, so if you don't want to look at the professionals of a particular sport, then you know that that particular sport is not going to be the one that provides you with the kind of body that you want to have. Am I being clear? So, number two is don't fall into the trap of being a business guy. That if you are yourself a business guy, I've been a business guy for many years, and you know what happens to business guys? At least it happened to me. I like suits, and I have a whole entire collection for Italian ties. But what happens is that after working like business meetings, then doing so much business, I got tired of rocking the business look in my private life. So yes, I know I may look to you like a construction worker right now. I'm not. I don't mind that people think I'm a construction worker. I have nothing against it. But in reality, those YouTube channels to enhance your masculinity are telling you that you need to look like you have lots of money. And if you do have lots of money, you probably know that reality is that most guys that have lots of money don't look or don't have the need to be dressing up or to be wearing a tie all the time, because you do it at work anyway. So what's the point? If you're the kind of guy that got a suit, especially even an overpriced suit, probably a bad tie just for looking up like a business guy, this might be the reason why you're picking up artistic abilities are not bringing you the results you wanted to have. Number three is have a look at your shoes. You know, the worst thing that I found out is I've been watching for years, for more than 30 years, I've been watching the kind of shoes that guys wear. and you can always spot a guy whose shoes got recommended and even bought directly by either the wife or their mother. If you're a younger guy, by your mother. If you're an older guy, probably your wife. Don't do that. If your wife or your mother, if any woman are choosing your shoes, chances are they're choosing something that claims, uh, the kind of guy that just watches TV on the sofa together with his mom and watch Mexican soap operas. It sounds like it doesn't sound like the kind of guy that has an interest in life. It sounds like a kind of life that is watching episode number 3600 of Margarita getting divorced and being pregnant by. So no, it's not the father. You know what I mean? Don't do that. Shoes tell you a lot about the personality of somebody, because shoes, they come in all sort of shapes and colors and whatever. So choose your own shoes. And this is the point, don't get scared of being a little bit, like you don't have to choose the shoes. You don't have to choose the shoes everybody wears. Then feel free. If you feel like you are at the point in your life that you don't mind people's opinions, then feel free to get the shoes that you like. Now, number 4, what about wearing accessoires or accessories, depending on what you call them? Then you do have a lot of channels that try to tell you to sell you products. Okay, they get sponsored, and suddenly the same guy. I'm thinking about a particular person, but I don't want to mention his name because I have nothing against that guy. But I remember a very, very, very famous. There's a very famous guy in the English-speaking community that in his very first videos about masculinity and blah 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 blah, he would tell us all about, well, just get a white shirt. You can go everywhere with it. You can wear it 1,000 times. You don't have to spend too much money on that. And the minute he got sponsors, he became saying, oh, no, go away from the white shirt. You need to have this and this and that. Imagine, I mean, it sounds ridiculous. Imagine me telling you that you need to get this particular shirt from whatever company, blah, 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 blah. And I happen to have a link that sponsors blah, 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 blah. I'm going to make some profit. I mean, I don't dismiss doing that, but I'm definitely not going to do that if that contradicts my values. I'm not going to tell you something now, like telling you to get masculine looking shoes, and then suddenly I get sponsored by some biological cotton company and try to sell you shoes that look like, I don't know, a mother of 7 is wearing them. So I think this is a contradiction. I don't want to do that, and I'm going to be clear about that. So have a look at your shoes. Now, what is the trick, in case you don't know? Yeah, Lior, but by the way, my name is Lior. Did I mention that? So, by the way, Lior, how do I know if a shoe is looking masculine or not? Very simple. Is there a shoe that a woman would look without people finding it weird? Basically you have, let's say 3 types of shoes, especially if we're talking about sport shoes or about some hiking shoes or whatever. So there are masculine, feminine, or neutral. There are indeed, because if you get some kind of shoes and you think a woman could wear them without calling people's attention, it's because they're not masculine. If you get a kind of shoe that would call people a lot of attention, it's because they're feminine. And if that's just like, okay, a woman could eventually wear them, then they're not masculine shoes. So go away systematically from anything that tells you it is actually a so-called unisex product. Unisex products is an invention from the late 80s, and they haven't even arrived at most countries yet, for a reason. If you want to look masculine, don't wear anything that a woman can be wearing in society without looking weird. Because if a woman can wear that and people will look at her like, that it means it's unisex. It's for both men and women. So how on earth are you going to enhance masculinity look by wearing something that is actually also made for women? It doesn't make any sense. Now, the other thing is, don't let any woman choose your underwear. Yeah, but my wife likes to da ba 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 ba. You know what? A very easy way to control a guy is to control his underwear. Because if a woman was, yeah, but you don't wanna, you don't wanna go with some of the women to just trustworthy guy. But I'm not saying you shouldn't be trustworthy. I'm just saying, in the end of the day, you're competing in the outside world with guys that are choosing their own underwear. You know what I mean? So if your wife or your mother or whoever it is choosing your underwear, especially if it is your wife, it also means she's not gonna get any surprise, any positive surprise. So you are getting rid of all of your possibilities to actually give it a nice surprise by looking sexy one night. Don't do that. So far we've been talking about beards, we're talking about hair, we're talking about shoes, they're talking. What about belts? Belts. You know what I noticed? There are especially younger guys that think a belt is something expensive that they get online. They have some kind of. Let me try to show you some kind of like a belt buckle with some kind of expensive company. I don't want to mention any. You don't have to do that. It looks tacky. If you have the need for people to read like the name of expensive company here, it's because you don't have the money to actually afford that company, because people who can afford that don't have the need to show off. So you just telling society, attention, I finally got the savings to buy myself this belt with a letter that I don't want to mention because everybody will know the company, with a letter, whatever letter, on the belt buckle. It looks sucky. It's going to attract. You want to talk about women? Yeah, but women like guys that have some financial. Yes, but if you wear a tacky thing just because it has the name of a company, you know what's going to happen. Most probably, you're going to attract a tacky woman that is also pretending to be somebody she's not, and then you're going to end up in a relationship in which you both get totally disappointed from one another. So imagine you're a new divorced guy. You're gonna get back to life. You're gonna get back to dating. Don't get disappointed with all of these channels that tell you need to be young, tall, rich, or whatever. It's not the reality. In reality, is if you are an experienced guy and you use your experience instead of trying to become or trying to pretend to be a younger guy, you're gonna get a lot more women than you used before, because now you're not going to accept. You're gonna filter, even if you want or not. You're going to filter the kind of people that you include in your private life. And if somebody doesn't have, let's say, doesn't fulfill the kind of abilities or intellectual abilities or whatever it is that you aim for, you're not going to let that person in your life. I'm gonna take you an example. Now that I'm here, I'm gonna tell you an example about something that a story that I knew from. I had forgotten that, but I'm gonna share that with you. I used to know a guy. I don't want to give too much of a detail because my idea is not to criticize a concrete person. Well, anyway, I got to know one guy professionally that had divorced a very famous lawyer. And obviously, being a lawyer, you can make sure he did not have anything. After that marriage, he got stripped of everything. Because obviously, if you marry a lawyer, it's on the super plate for her to get everything she wants. So by the way, I never dated a lawyer, and it's something I'm not going to do because I'm not gonna put my head on a silver plate. So anyways, that guy did the mistake of marrying a lawyer, famous one, and obviously he ended up finishing his marriage whenever she wanted, and she got everything. After that, he didn't want to do the same mistake, so his friends suggested that he would go on a trip to Cuba and just, like meeting some girls and going on holidays, whatever. What happens is something that most guys would know that could probably happen. He met a girl there, and obviously she was like very caring and loving and oh mi amor, and soon afterwards, he was aware of all of the problems that she was having, and she needed money, and she did this, and this is too bad, and so he ended up bringing the girl to Germany, marrying her with the hope that he would not have to go through the same problems that he had been going through with his first marriage, because this second girl was somebody that had no education whatsoever, had no bigger legal possibilities and whatever. Just to be sure, no, I'm not talking about a guy that wanted to take advantage of a poor girl that did not have any possibilities. That was not the case. He provided her with everything. He provided her with a luxurious apartment. She got at least, and this is something I was very aware of, at least 600 euros to spend on whatever she wanted daily. So you know what happens? Well, I happened to meet the guy 20 years later. Yeah, in a very poor corner of the city. He is now living in a very tiny apartment in a very, very humble place. So, I, there's no need to tell you the rest of the story. That even if she wasn't a lawyer, I can tell you she played the role of a victim very well, which she did from the very beginning. In the end of the day, and she ended up getting the luxurious apartment and blah 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 and everything. So in the end of the day, he ended up repeating the story. It was the same. It might be probably different taste, like getting divorced from a lawyer or from somebody that plays the role of a victim is a different thing. But in the end of the day, the end of the game is the same. He got stripped of everything that he had been working for his entire life. So if you don't want to go through that, make sure that you don't do either or. Don't fall into the game of getting married to a woman that is more powerful than you in terms of legal issues. And don't also get into the game of marrying or helping somebody you find as a victim, because I'm telling you, that victim is going to strip you of everything you have as soon as she can. Am I being clear? I don't know how I got into telling the story, but we were talking about shoes before. Right? Anyways, so I hope I could help you with these ideas. I'm not taking any responsibility for anybody that is not myself. I'm not responsible for what you do or don't do or think or not think, whatever. Your life is your own responsibility. Well, if my video could serve you for anything, I hope you had enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, and if you need a friend, your best friend listening to you, you can hire me by the hour, have a video conference with me, and you can contact me at my email address. Your best friend listening to you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.